Hello and welcome to this short webinar about the Squire Patton BOGCS application process. We solely recruit our trainees from placement schemes, so securing a place on one of these guarantees you a training contract interview. During this webinar I will cover avoiding instant rejection, know what the firm is looking for, Step 1, CV and cover letter, Step 2, the digital assessment, Step 3, the assessment centre, and Step 4, the placement scheme itself. To begin with, avoiding instant rejection. When submitting your application, there are a couple of errors that can result in instant rejections. Spelling mistakes, for instance. Being a lawyer involves having excellent attention to detail. By making spelling mistakes and other typos, you are giving the first impression that this may not be one of your strengths. Secondly, wrong company. Surprisingly, we have had a number of applications in the past that have noted the wrong company name in the cover letter. Again, think about how this demonstrates your attention to detail. This also shows us that you are not tailoring your application to the organisation you are applying to. I cannot stress enough how important it is to ensure that you are starting each cover letter from scratch. This will avoid errors such as leaving in another firm's name. Final example of how to avoid instant rejection is through checking your formatting. When submitting an application, the last thing you want is for us not to be able to open the document. To prevent your computer or laptop from impacting on whether the file is readable, save all documents as PDFs. While each of these mistakes may seem small, they can dictate whether you get through to the next stage of the application process. Next, know what the firm is looking for. As discussed in the How to Prepare Your Application webinar, you should ensure that you research the firm thoroughly before submitting your application. You can use a variety of sources to find out important information about and get a feel for what the firm is looking for in candidates. For example, our firm website, our social media accounts. The purpose of your application is to firstly show us who you are and why you're a good fit, but also it's your opportunity to promote brand you. Now I'll move on to each of the steps of the application process. The first stage of the application process is to submit your CV and cover letter to us via our website. Ensure your CV represents the real you. We want to get a feel for who you are. Make sure you reference the attributes your research tells you are important. You should have an idea of what we look for in our trainees and future lawyers. Finally, tell us why, not just what, how and where. For example, why is your work experience important? What did you gain from doing it? The quality of your cover letter is also key at this stage. It should be no more than 3 paragraphs or around 350 words. Remember that someone will be reading numerous cover letters, so make it interesting. Another top tip is to start with a hook to draw us in. And finally, read, reread and read again. As I mentioned earlier, small errors can determine whether you get through to the next stage. Step 2, the digital assessment. If you are successful at the CV and cover stage, you'll be asked to complete a digital assessment. This comprises of a number of video interview questions where you will have a set amount of time to prepare and then deliver your answer. Each answer will be recorded and later reviewed by a member of our emerging talent team. We also include additional questions such as drafting, exercising and multiple choice questions which rotate on a regular basis. We aren't looking for the perfect answer, so do try not to panic. We want to see how well you work under pressure and see our top tips for digital assessments webinar for more guidance. Step 3, the assessment centre. The third step of the process is to attend one of our assessment centres. These are held locally at our UK offices. This comprises of a 30 to 40 minute strengths-based interview with partners and senior associates. This is your opportunity to show us why you could make a great lawyer, but importantly, why you would make a great addition to our firm. This is also the perfect opportunity for you to ask any burning questions you may have and to find out even more about us. The second aspect of the assessment centre is the presentation based on a topical article. This is to assess your commercial awareness. You'll be given time to read the article and pull together a short presentation that you will then deliver to our assessors. before, whilst you're on the placement scheme. The final step of the process to gaining a training contract with us is the placement scheme itself. If you receive a place on the winter scheme, you will spend the week in one of our practice groups. If you join our summer placement scheme, you will spend each week in a different practice group. At the end of all our placement schemes, there is a final interview and group task. Your performance during the placement scheme, along with the interview and group task, is taken into consideration before a final decision is made about whether we will offer you a training contract. Thank you and good luck. For more information about the firm and our application process, please visit our website.